And welcome back to the farm. And I start off by showing how the cat loves her TLC. You see she's comfortable today because it's actually a pleasant day. But I will be starting on planting the fall seeds, the first wave. This is what we call succession planting. I will explain more in a later date. Here is all the seeds that I have available for the fall. These are lettuce, onions, kale, broccoli, carrots, peas,
whole bunch of lettuce,
cauliflower, and broccoli. Now, carrots I don't like planting carrots around the fall.
Kale.
So I'm just going to display them to let you know, but I will not be planting. But you see, I have tons and tons of lettuce seeds. Well, tons not to get a metaphor, but still, you see how much more I have availability of that. Now I'm going to start with the onions.
Start with these.
And then you have all this information. It will tell you what type of days it likes. The farther north you are, the shorter the days. So you want to do the short days. The farther south, you go into the long days. Now, if you're in between, you have the intermediate. These are long days. This is perfect for what I'm wanting to do now.
Long day, intermediate, and short day. The farther south you go, the shorter the
if you're unsure, read the seed packet. They have information telling you how far to plant,
right now,
when to plant,
if you remember,
etc., etc.
I got some different types of broccoli.
So now I'm just picking out what I want
types of kale,
per se.
A lot of different types of lettuce.
Now that tool in my hand, I forget what the name of it is, but that cover,
now if you're wanting to plant onions,
you take that out, as you see I'm struggling with right now.
What type you get.
You pour seeds into there.
There we go.
Whatever you want to call that, I always forget the name of it.
This right here.
You put the plastic bit back in top, and there's a sequence of channels. There's a channel that it sits in, and you control the dial.
Short days where you don't have
as a number corresponding to the size of a hole. You find the number that fits the seed that you're you've put in there, and that will allow you to broadcast the seeds in a much controlled way. Like I said, those more of the information. I can't really see it, but it just tells you more about the type of onion. And that on my left side is actually a plant label if you want to cut that out and use that. I never do. So what I would recommend is when you plant our seeds, have the seed packet on hand, and label where you planted those seeds so you know where they're at. And if you know, hey, what is this onion, for example, you just go pull out the seed packet. Oh, yeah. You see, these are the onion seeds. Also, I apologize. There's a lot of junk going in the air with my sinuses. If you hear me sniffle. You see, I'm just pouring those onion seeds in there, trying to control them. Because I don't want to lose any seeds right now. And you have to be mindful because some of the seeds will get stuck at the bottom of the packet, as you see me right now. That's what I'm fighting. But those black seeds are actually what are onion seeds that are onions that are allowed to go to seed and harvest. You see how hard getting those last seeds out.
One seed out here.
Like I think I have one that just gave up on because it's like
That's two. Fantastic. That's just down to one.
I think I end up giving up on that or finally getting it out. One of the two.
Am I going to stress about one? Not. So let's just forget about that one. Okay. And these are bulbs, by the way.
So now I'm going to go.
This right here.
And you can see what I was referring to, where you see those segments of holes. And there's a number corresponding to that. So now I'm just trying to figure out what size hole to the seed size, because I don't want to have that set in a too large of a hole and all the seeds fall in one spot. Then it's just a mess. So I want to control the broadcast, and that's just where I'm spreading the seeds.
Yep, that was the one that I needed.
Like I had the right size hole, right size for the seeds.
That makes planting a whole lot easier.
And I just like to wear my gloves. But I'm actually going to go plant these in some grow bags that I've had. I had the tomato growing in those grow bags. They didn't do much.
No, I forgot I had to clean.
So I removed the tomatoes, left the soil in those bags. Now I'm going to plant onions in their stead.
Apparently I'm still trying to wake up, get the caffeine in my system.
And I'm also looking down at my feet so I don't want to step in any undesirable spots like the dog might left me. But this is what I was referring to with the seed spreader. That's what I call it, a seed spreader.
You can't eat plastic. You cannot eat plastic.
You still can't eat plastic last time I checked.
Alright, let's see what I can do here.
So now I'm just going to spread those around. And you see how there's a lot more manageable. And it's okay to draw a little extra seed in this, because the purpose is to come back and weed the seeds that may be too close together that's growing. You take the strongest one and remove the weakest one. Because that packet was 32 square feet.
It's okay to oversow.
And what I do is do the same in the next grow bag. And the rest will go into the raspberry bed. Because I do have some what I call dead space, so I might as well take advantage of that, which is getting into more of a methodology of gardening. Which that will be displayed in when I get the seeds transplanted into the garden. You see, I still have to do some clearing. I have to find that sunflower. Here's the blackberry. And I found some rocks in there that I'm pulling out. But I'm going to plant the remaining onion seeds on here so I don't waste any onion seeds. You see, it's just a slow methodical, and it's not the right word to use, but you see how it's just more of a controlled spread. Instead of me just grabbing a handful and zing it here or there, I don't know where it's going to land, or you may have all the seeds in one spot, and you have a big patch of another. I'm zinging the last bit of seeds out. Yes, you see that I have a few blackberries being produced. Now, at this point, you would have a bucket of loose soil, seed transplants, peat moss, or even compost. And you would top it off. I forgot to do that because I came back several later, so I don't know if the onion seeds are out there or not. I'll find out here in probably about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
That was the hard part.
I also left my plant markers.
Now let's figure out what we want to do with the lettuce.
This I realized later on. But now I'm going to go to all the different type of lettuces you see here. You see those several different types, several different colors and sizes.
I don't need to grow all these different lettuces.
So now I'm just going, hey, which ones do I want? It's like, okay, I'm going to get the new ones.
I'm going to do my newer seeds.
Now, kale,
no, I'm not going to do any carrots.
I actually enjoy kale. It's actually quite good for you. But right now I'm focusing on the lettuce. Because I've already gotten the trays ready. There's the bee feeding station right now. They're not very active. Those are French type lettuce. Do you see how small those lettuce seeds are? Normally I don't recommend planting lettuce seeds into what I'm planting because they're very light. But here is just me being lazy and trying to save some time. You see how I'm actually having to fight them. A lot of the seeds have already been pushed up, but the benefit to that is I can actually see some of them are already starting to root. Which means, or in the better terms, germinate. Which I did this video a couple days ago. I'm just now getting around to editing. And that's all I'm doing for the next several minutes, is just trying to be slow, careful, precise, because I don't want these seeds all over the ground. That will be bad. Now normally I plant, instead of plant, no, I can't just plant one seed in here. If this was my standard mix, I would have already had pushed them down into the soil and left them. I can't do that with these type plugs, which I will not be using these plugs again. Those that enjoy or like that type of soil start, by all means. It's just I'm not preferring it. And I might fill this entire tray up, which is you're going to see in the next several minutes. So if you want to fast forward, by all means. It's around this time I realized I forgot my plant markers, so I had to run and get my plant markers, which is also not recommended because what happens if you get where that last spot was at? And normally I would have this on my workbench, but alas, my workbench is a little unavailable for this, so I just decided, just to tough it out. The problem with that is the seeds are actually sticking to my fingers because of the water content. So I much rather have several plants sprouting at this point versus none at all. And if you're wondering the name of those types of soil starters, they're called plugs. Because when you take them out, it's just like a plug. And I'm very creative. I said here I had to go get my plant labels. Now, how you label make your plant labels is up to you. I just prefer to put the plant name down. If I need a reference, when I need to harvest or whatnot, I'll just go pull the seed packet out. But others will actually put how long the germination will take. It just depends on whatever methods and what you like. Find a method that works for you. Now, this type, I'm actually getting ahead and writing all the names of the plants that I'm going to start. Now, again, this is a little early for the lettuce. and the cauliflower that I planted, probably the peas too. But I wanted to do what we call succession planting, which means you plant some plants earlier to extend the harvest window. For example, let's say you plant lettuce here, and you come back and plant another group 2 weeks later. No, that's succession planting. Now you extended their harvest window up by 2 weeks. So the time you're harvesting one group, instead of having a big batch of lettuce, and you're trying to go, what am I supposed to do with this? Well, you get one batch 2 weeks, you get another batch 2 weeks later. Well, it's a little more manageable.
Lettuce.
Again, not all plants will take off. And that was just me displaying. There was a lot of information about the plant's background, because these are heirloom seeds, and heirlooms have been around forever. I could take seeds from that seed, if I let it flower and seed, hand it off to you, and it's the exact same plant. I heard some, what was it, from the Seed Exchange non-profit that we have out here?
Space here.
That some, I forget who it was, Mategro, whatever that company is called, I have to look it up, is trying to heavily limit seed exchange by filing patents on seeds, which makes 0 sense to me, but hey, money is what makes the world go around. So you might want to be aware of that, because that also forces us, if that patent goes through, to buy what they want, and a lot of the GMO plants they have are designed to grow up or grow in Roundup, for example. Now, do you want to eat the seed that has Roundup in it? Well, let me think about that long and hard. But this is a prime example of what I was referring to about how the seeds are being
right back into the,
not really
an
ideal kind to be putting in the plug. Because what it is that little hole, a little hole that's been hollowed out for the seeds to go in. These are way too small for that. So now I have to kind of jury rig them. And again, because of the water, they're sticking. So I just got to kind of get at this point, I'm just trying to make it work and move on. Now, when I was out here this morning, there was a few that was actually showing germination success. So what will happen is the taproot will come out the bottom, then the shoot will come out a few days later. The other reason why I'm planting them shallow is because they sprout a lot quicker. Like I can get about a 2-day germination rate off this if it all goes well. Now again, nature. You gotta take a risk. My success may not mirror yours. So if it doesn't work one way, try another. But you can see exactly how I will not be using lettuce in these type of plugs again. But this is what I get for trying to be lazy. This would have been better for the kale. But I don't need that much kale because, again, I am pretty much the only one in my family that eats kale. So I don't grow as much kale as I do lettuce. Because that's what the family and a lot of my friends that, if I have it available, will take. The other reason is because of the bee club, I can actually bring these in for a meeting, donate them to the club for a raffle, generate some funds for the club. People will go home and go, hey, I have some lettuce for the fall. So it's a win-win regardless for me. And again, you see his very... I don't know what I was thinking with this, but this is coming back to bite me. But we're almost done with this tray. And I still haven't even figured out how I'm going to get this in the garden yet, so like I said.
Rinse and repeat. Same process.
That's when I'm going to go get the plant label. Make sure I'm not stepping anything, checking on the bees, make sure they're okay. I'm also leaving the seeds that I've opened up over there so they don't fly away, which is another reason why I should have done this inside the shed, but I didn't. Now, when it says a salad blend, it's a combination of two different types of lettuce or colors, as you can see in the picture.
These work better for larger seeds.
I'm also growing a little more so I can give to the worm farm. Again, you see there's a lot of information on that type. I think this is another French heirloom. As if we're almost done with this. And if you're wondering what that plug is made of, it's just solid peat. Peat moss gets used in sea starting a lot.
Then you come back and weed out.
Because it does have some other nutrients. Even though it's more acidic in the pH, plant starting seems to do well, and it holds 20% its weight in water. Problem is again, what we mine as a species in a year takes the earth like 220 something years to replenish. So as a carbon sink, so I'm very cautious about how I use that. Now I switched to using the peat moss in my soil mix because it's actually cheaper right now due to the price of shipping and gas. But I counterbalance that with my vermicompost, which is this worm castings. Which you will see here in a few minutes once I get done finagling with these seeds. So I apologize if this seems a little tedious. I was not thinking clearly when this was after the fact. But good news is, once I get done poking all the seeds back into the plugs, we're done with this, so we don't have to worry about that no more. You see, I lost my spot, so I had to remember, okay, because I always go in the grid.
Okay. Ice cream.
With that is my last lettuce that I will be planting. I may decide to plant some more later on. And I always like to sort my seeds together. You see right there, that blew that straight off. I'm just reading about the lettuce. I decided not to use that one. So now I'm going to grab the kale here. Now you got a red Russian and a scarlet.
We will do both.
Now kale is actually pretty good. I shouldn't say pretty. It's actually considered a superfood now.
This gives you
because all the minerals it has are green leafy plants.
April to June.
Have good minerals.
March, April,
here I'm actually going over the zone map. You can't really make it up, but where you fall on that map dictates how you plant. The farther north, the smaller the window, the farther south, the larger the windows. What I was saying. If you're worried about here in Oklahoma in zone 7,
now this
and your frost date, as I've said, is November 15th is the first one. The last one is around April 16th. I have to look it up because it's starting to get a little fuzzy as I get older. I used to be able to say that at the hand, but it's right around Easter. Because we do get some Easter snows every once in a while. It's rare. But you see, this is what I'm more used to. So I just put the seeds at the top, gently poke them down, cover them up. I'm done.
If you're worried about water, they have plenty of water. I've been getting a lot of rain lately.
But you see how I'm more familiar with this method. Than I am with the other one. In the end, it's all the same.
No, I'm not worried about the birds getting the birds.
Now, my conundrum is what am I going to do with this? Now, I probably will donate them to the bee club.
And I'm not
donate the ones I don't want to use. But I am trying to grow a little extra for a source of food for the worms. But a lot of this is this repetition. But I rather show you the repetition now, so if you're on the fence about thinking starting a garden for the spring,
you can start the seeds early.
This is a good example. Just to show you what's involved.
Give it a little more care.
Now I'm just going to put that seed packet away, keep it from blowing away. It was somewhat windy. And write my label out. Now, I forgot to put my onion labels out there, so I made some onion labels. So that way I know what's in there.
I'm wasting some time doing this, but it's actually quite pleasant today. I'm actually enjoying the weather.
Now, you didn't remember where you had put where you left off. You see, like the wind blew that packet off there, and I found it all the way down there.
Blew it away.
That I'm actually quite excited for right now because I've never grown pure purple kale before. So don't be surprised if you see stuff you think's green when it's, for example, oh hey, it's yellow. Why? But purple foods are great for having loads and loads of antioxidants.
In the event you do end up keeping bees, if they get close to you, just don't make.
Now the rest of this is going to be, like I might put a couple rows of the remaining kale in here. Then it's going to move to some cauliflower, I believe, if I remember correctly. Now what I'm doing is speeding this up. Realize I don't have enough kale seeds. I might get some more.
One row of these.
Or vice versa. This happens a mode.
Space versus what I was wanting to plant. And you may be asking me why I don't plant everything. It's because space. I get this.
Now I'm just checking the clover. As you see, it's looking nice.
I about the sunflowers, but it's beneficial for the bees, and they need food sources just as much as anyone else. So I'm in a conundrum.
Now, I actually bought the broccoli with me with the intent of planting until I read the back of the label, which they told me, oh hey, wait for a minimum 4 weeks. If I do 4 weeks, that puts me in the middle of October. So that tells me that the heat will affect these seedlings, so I have to wait. And I could probably skip by because I know some tricks, but I will wait on the broccoli.
Now for the broccoli,
I'll probably start the broccoli here in about mid-September.
It's messy enough. Orange is yellow.
Now here's the zone map. But that's when I'm reading the the planting guide is like, oh, I'm too early, go to the nesting. Again, too early.
Frost hardy, yes. Try sow in midsummer.
But this is a good example, showing all the information in the seed packet. Now, it is a little early, but I'm going to go ahead and plant it anyway. But I was actually reading the packet because with that brand, the seed company will actually include information about the seed's origin, and this has always been quite fascinating to me. So I'm going to plant more cauliflower because I'm actually been wanting to try more cauliflower.
I'm going to do one roll of this.
Now I'm just making sure they have plenty of seeds in there, so I'm guaranteed to have the success. You see, I'm just packing them in. Normally you would add water, but we've had so much rain that there's plenty of rain in the reservoirs underneath the planting trays. There's one labeling. No, I thought that was cauliflower, but I apologize, it's broccoli. So I'm just going to try to speed up the process. Those tricks you can use. But I wouldn't recommend it if you're fresh out of the gate. It's like starting a job. Once you get used to it, you can get away with a little more.
Italia.
And I'm just reading the different types here.
Greenheads. So two.
Is this more of an example?
This is getting a little.
So I was saying, you know what? I might check out this one, see how much room I have. And
I sowed these a little earlier. Now you can come back and re-sow these.
I'll wait on those. Come back here later on when it gets a little more seasonal for them.
You have plenty of room.
Or temperate would be the better word.
Same thing.
And there's the cauliflower. And that's actually straight from Sicily, if I remember correctly. And I didn't show off the picture too well, but it's actually purple.
Sunflowers, cauliflower, and these remaining two bins.
So I'm just going to plant that. Like, there you go. Now I'm going to, I don't remember if I made both these cells or this one. I think I made both. And what I'm doing, again, is doing it to save some time.
Because the idea is you would
I've grown cauliflower before, but I've never had high success on it because I grew it at the wrong time of year. Now I'm just packing them down. Now, if you want, you can come back and put you can put some light soil over top of them. I just don't see the point in it. I just have the peas left. Yep, purple of Sicily. Once I get the peas done, assuming when I get the peas planted, yeah, but you see I have some bees that's being curious about what I'm doing.
Still getting buzzed.
No, I'm just looking at my feet, making sure nothing blew down. I'm not stepping anything.
Garden pea, Little Maville.
And again, I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you read what's on the back of the seed packet. It's going to tell you exactly how far you need to plant the seeds, when to plant them, what the origins are on them. And don't throw away the seed packet, because, you know, if you have a question, well, what did I plant here? You know, okay, here's the name, but I don't have any information on it.
And this is one of the first times I'm planting with the bees.
That's why you always want to keep your seed packets. Now, if you use all the seeds up in the season they're done, you can throw that seed packet away. It doesn't matter. Or unless you're able to fit all the information on a small tag, whatever works. But those are actually the ideal for the original seed book. Is those the bigger seeds.
And it's best not to stick
And if you're wondering why I'm feeding the bees nets
you don't want the seeds mixed
to where I'm seed planting, this time of year it goes into what we call the third period, which is just jargon for, okay, the flowers are shutting down, there's not a lot of nectar going on, the bees are trying to do whatever they can to get food, basically. So by feeding the bees away from my hive, I'm limiting another colony coming in to try to rob. This means they're getting, just like you have a squatter in a house that comes in, takes your food, goes away, comes back, and then leaves you with nothing. That's the whole purpose of it. But this was much easier on, in terms of me planning.
There we go. If you're wondering why I'm planting more, you typically plant more with the purpose of weeding out the weaker ones.
And by the way, the peas are vines, so they will. So you need to have them grow with something, or have some type of trellis, or anything that can spark vertical growth. Which there's a lot of tricks, which I'm not quite ready to start displaying those just quite yet. And if you're wondering why I have rocks down there, the rocks, when I have the plastic cover on top of them, of the greenhouse frame, it actually increased the ambient temperature, and I will actually have some buckets of water in there as well to increase the temperature, and they will actually act as countersinks to keep the greenhouse from going away, because these things are super light.
Right there. It does another dead bee right there.
You see, I'm still getting visited by some bees. It's not uncommon for me to get buzzed by one or two.
I need 2 more.
Good news is we're almost done with the video. So thank you for sticking around.
I'm working next to these bees and they're not bugging me.
Once we get done with this, I'm actually inspecting the pumpkins.
I'm not bugging them.
I found a nasty little surprise waiting for me. With that, we are done with the seed starting. Here's the pumpkins.
And the pumpkins are looking
See, they're looking quite nice. And that just gives you a reference. You see how big that leaf is compared to my hand. Now, you do have squash bugs, which you can see at the bottom leaf in the right-hand corner. There is some signs of some squash bug damage. Which,
I hate squash bugs.
now you see by my motions, I actually found squash bugs, which are very annoying to me. So what you see me doing, I'm trying to grab them in the soil, and I'm not having any luck, so now I'm just going to try to bury them in the soil. You actually see me get a stick in there, and actually try to push them deep in the soil. What I'm trying to do is mass them. All squash bugs are they're sap suckers. They can kill a cuprous plant overnight if you let the populations get too big. You can't really see what I'm seeing because the camera doesn't have a lot of zoom in. But what I'm doing is finding those bugs, pushing them deep into the soil, trying to limit their mobility. And I give a couple options here. If it's too bad, you can actually take the leaf, remove the leaf.
No matter what I try to do, I always get squash bugs.
I know you can't really see what I'm looking for in here, but they will hide underneath the leaves themselves. As you see while I'm trying to smash the leaves.
Yeah, a lot of them are dead now.
So I'm just going to take that leaf, throw it in the compost, forget about it.
Leaves.
Yeah, see, but the plant itself is still healthy. It's starting to vine. Now I'm going to inspect all the other leaves.
Now, what you do is you go to every single leaf out here.
Which these bugs hide under the underside of the leaves. So again, I apologize for the camera angles. I didn't realize that this was not getting seen.
Usually you can tell signs of them.
But I do find some squash bug eggs later on. Now for the other plants. Whee! But see how I'm looking underneath the leaves themselves?
The squash bugs are sap eaters.
I didn't find any on that plant.
Sap. And if you're worrying about this weed,
there's some junk.
This is milkweed.
Next plant.
Usually
I think I found some eggs here.
By deterioration on leaves. That's not a squash bug.
There's some squash bug eggs right there.
Some right there.
What you can do is get a piece of tape, roll it up, and you can peel the eggs off that way. You can actually remove the leaf.
That's what I do.
Or if you're really delicate, you can actually roll the eggs off the leaf themselves. This is what I'm doing here. You can't really see that I'm actually collecting the eggs in my hand, because I will actually feed them to the goldfish that I have out back.
You can take a piece of tape, roll it, and take these eggs right off.
But overall, that plant was fairly okay.
I mean, that's the downside.
Move on to the next plant. And again, I'm just doing the inspection again. I don't think I found any squash bugs there. But again, being in the city, everything gets magnified. Past issues gets magnified because someone else might have a squash plant that's causing the problem. So this one looks fairly good. I think the next one is as well. And I apologize for you not being able to see what I'm looking at, because I didn't realize my camera angle was different from my point of view. And as far as the eggs go, you can dump them on the soil. They're perfectly fine, because they will get predation on the eggs. But you can see the plants are getting ready to start producing the male flowers. Then they will produce the female flowers. And an easy way to tell that, because you will actually see the ovaries, which would technically make that a fruit, I believe. It's a technicality, but still. Last plant. I think this one was as good as the others. Now what I will do is just go deposit the eggs, let the goldfish eat the eggs, and not worry about them ever again. until I come back in that state, if I check more squash bugs, make sure it's being controlled.
This one.
I'm just going back in that one, make sure I didn't miss anything. You see how I'm just eyeballing. And thank you for staying around. As always, feel free to like, comment, subscribe.
This plant was most infected.
I will let you go and hope you have a wonderful day. And thank you for joining me.
Still got a mosquito buzzing me. That's why we always look around. Okay. Crisis has been averted, but now I get to go into pest control mode. And if you have a goldfish, you can feed the eggs to the goldfish.